Be ready. 5 seconds. Start. On the ground of it being a nationalized route did not suffer from any error and it would not be amenable to an appeal under section 89 of the Act 1988. Stop. It being so, the very basis for rejection of the application for impediment filed by the petitioner herein by the appellate authority, as also denying him a right of hearing, falls to the ground. Stop. The remedy was by way of a revision under section 90 of the Act 1988 and under the proviso to section 90, no order could be passed in such revision unless the person who would be prejudiced by such order or given a reasonable opportunity of being heard. Stop. Had the private opposite parties filed such a revision, the revisional court would have considered the question of locus standi. Stop. Stanza. Suffice it to say that a specific assertion has been made in the paragraph 4 of the writ petition that the applicants and their predecessors in interest were permitted to play the vehicle on the route in question as per the scheme notified, which has not been specifically and categorically denied either by the private opposite party or by the state in their counter affidavit. Stop. In fact, it has been admitted in the counter affidavit that the petitioner is playing on the route in question. Stop. During the course of the argument, Sri Saxena himself stated that the petitioner was playing on the route in question in terms of some interim order passed by the revisional authority. Stop. Had it been a non-notified route, then the plea of the opposite parties as regards locus standi may have carried weight in view of the authorities cited by them, but it being a notified route, it cannot be said that he does not have any locus standi to maintain this petition. Stop. Stanza. As has been recorded in the impugned judgment of the High Court when the writ petition was taken up for admission on 14th May 2010, the fact that the petitioners had withdrawn the condition with regard to the provision of foreign exchange rate variation was considered, and it was also observed that such subsequent withdrawal could not affect the bid of the petitioners. Stop. However, on the submission made on behalf of the petitioners that the aforesaid condition was also included in the RFP submitted by respondent number 4, notice was issued in the matter. Stop. Consequently, while taking up the writ petition for final disposal, the issues framed for deciding the writ petition were centered round the said question. Stop. In fact, the first issue which was framed was whether a bidder could amend its bid by withdrawing a condition of the bid document whereby the bid was considered to be non-responsive. Stop. The second issue, which is an offshoot of the first issue, is whether a bidder would be entitled to contend that a non-responsive bid be treated as responsive since the offending condition was withdrawn after the bid documents had been opened. Stop. The third issue raised was with regard to the bid submitted by respondent number 4 and whether the same could be treated as responsive although the price offered by the said respondent contained a foreign exchange rate component which was to be considered at a particular rate. Stop. Stanza. In deciding the said issues, the High Court held that since the terms and conditions of the price to be firm and fixed was one of the more important ingredients of the tender, the submission of a bid which violated the said condition rendered the bid non-responsive. Stop. The High Court observed that this was not a case of clerical mistake in the bid documents but a conscious change in the terms and conditions of the bid as submitted by the petitioners, which could not cure the initial disqualification when the bids were submitted. Stop. The High Court took note of the fact that the bid of respondent number 4 contained the condition that its price would be in Indian rupees with a foreign component which would be converted in Indian rupees as on the date of opening of the bid stop. The High Court observed that the same did not violate the conditions of the RFP and that the said condition ensured that the price would be firm and fixed during the period of performance of the contract substantia. The stand taken on behalf of the petitioner was strongly opposed on behalf of the respondent number 4 to whom the contract had been awarded stop. Mr. Alok Desai, learned senior advocate, pointed out that the condition relating to the foreign exchange rate variation and the proposal of the respondent number 4 in relation thereto indicated a firm rate of exchange as on the date of the opening of the commercial bids, and there would be no escalation of such offer during the subsistence of the contract as envisaged in the tender documents substantia. After completion of the investigation, charge sheet under section 302 IPC was filed against the appellant stop. In order to prove its accusations against the appellant, the prosecution examined in all 7 witnesses, out of whom PW1 and PW2 were the eyewitnesses stop. The documents prepared during the investigation were also filed in support of the case stop. The appellant in his statement recorded under section 313 of the Code of Criminal Procedure denied his involvement in the crime stop. His plea was that a false case has been registered against him stop. However, he led no defense evidence stop, placing reliance on the evidence of the eyewitnesses and other evidence adduced on record. The appellant, as noted above, was found guilty stop. The appeal of the appellant against his conviction came to be dismissed by the High Court stop. Mr. Arvind Kumar, learned counsel appearing on behalf of the appellant, submitted that the High Court committed a serious error in appreciating the evidence of the alleged eyewitnesses and undue importance to the recovery of the weapon of offense (knife) has been given stop. It was urged that the High Court has failed to take cognizance of the fact that no motive has been attributed to the appellant for commission of the offence. Therefore, the appellant could not have been found guilty of the charge levelled against him stop. Learned counsel next submitted that non-examination of Sumit Singh, who allegedly lodged the first information report of the crime in the police station and owner of Sandeep Pan shop, is fatal to the prosecution case, and both these witnesses were intentionally withheld by the prosecution with a view to conceal the true facts of the case stop. Thus, according to the learned counsel, the prosecution has failed to establish the charge of murder against the appellant beyond reasonable doubt stop. Per contra, Mr. Sushil Singh, learned counsel appearing on behalf of the state, supported the judgments of the courts below stop. Mr. Singh submitted that the evidence of the eyewitnesses supported by other ocular and documentary evidence has been rightly examined and appreciated by the trial court as well as by the High Court stop. He submitted that no adverse interference can be drawn against the prosecution for non-examination of the informant and other witness because the prosecution has fully established the charge against the appellant beyond reasonable doubt by leading reliable and convincing evidence stop. Learned counsel further submitted stop over.